Premier is here. Premier Heating and Air is offering rebates starting at $1,000 with the purchase of a new heating and air system. Upgrade your system before the summer heat is here. Premier Heating and Air offering free Wi-Fi thermostats included with the purchase of a heating and air system. And now pay just $89 for a system checkup. Experience the Premier difference today. Or log on to dublin.premierishere.com. Premier Heating and Air, a locally owned and operated company. Hello everyone, we welcome you back. We're here with Dr. Bozeman. We're talking about summer safety, and we're out by this beautiful pond. It's a great time to get out and to fish, and I don't know about you, but most everybody I know likes to get in a little boat, boat, get out in the water a little bit and fish back toward the edge.
That's right.
So we want to talk about that safety. We've heard of some accidents, so we've heard of some things going on with the river, recently, and it's heart-wrenching for our community, isn't it, Doctor?
It is. The largest body of water around us in Lawrence County is really the river, so there's a lot of the kids in our area that like to spend time at the river with family. There's a lot of recreational opportunities out there, just like you mentioned, fishing. Yeah. I learned to kneeboard in the river, as crazy as that was. So, things that probably wouldn't recommend these days, but we have to be very careful when talking about that.
And some people do like to pull behind in the river, especially when the water gets up a little bit. But man, that can be really
unpredictable.
Dangerous.
Yeah, when the water level comes up, it washes a lot of debris in the river and some things you really can't see.
Right.
In general, you may know where the rock formations are, but you may not know where that big log is that's coming down there, and you hit it, and you could only imagine what could happen with the boat.
Yeah.
Especially with kids that may not be able to swim as well as you or I could.
Yeah.
So yes, there's dangers, hidden dangers there.
Now people have been in a boat most of their life. They feel real comfortable with it. That life jacket's laying down there, and it's acceptable a lot of times. But when situations change, just like with driving, Doctor, if it's pouring down, storming, rain falling everywhere, you probably drop down your speed about 10 miles
Absolutely.
an hour and are a lot more careful. Same thing should apply on a boat.
That's right. By the time you need that life jacket, it may be too late to grab it, especially if you've got a child in there. Any kid 13 or younger should have a life jacket on. If they're in the boat with me, they're always going to have it on, especially in the river. Not that we should draw a line of distinction between an open body of water like a lake and the river, but I'm always going to have it. 45 years old, I'm always going to have my life jacket on in the river. There's so many unpredictable things. But we need to make sure the kids in particular are well protected.
Yeah, we go to the lake a lot. A lot of us enjoy. We go up with friends who have a place at the lake, what have you, and you think about you get on that water and you can see her. You know your way around pretty good. You got a depth finder probably on most boats that you're going to have on the lake, and it's a little bit different scenario. You may be on a pontoon or something, but man, you get in a John boat. Yeah.
Certainly, it can take water on, a wake comes by, there's a lot of different things that could happen. The life jacket is your friend. That's your first line of defense there in the water to save your life.
And you talk about under what age has to?
So 13 and younger should always have a life jacket on, and that's with an adult at the helm. If you've got an 18-year-old or someone younger than that operating the boat, then everyone has to have a life jacket on in the boat.
Good.
So, and it's an appropriate fitting life jacket. It's not just a life preserver, right? The one for your infant child is much different than the one you or I would wear.
Right, yeah. And it's easy to pick those up. You can get them almost anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. And you can tighten that up and it'd just be perfect for the toddler, for the 6-year-old, 8-year-old, or for the grown man who's pushing 300 pounds. You gotta have a life jacket.
Absolutely.
That fits you. It can't be the little, that come with most boats.
Right. The life vests are they usually fit you pretty snugly, right? And they can't ride up on you. And that's the thing. We don't want to see an infant, that it rides up on them and obstructs their airway or their ability to breathe. And it's not only boats, it could be the kayak or the wakeboard. We're seeing more and more of that with kids. I know my kids love to kayak, but you're going to have the life jacket on if you're out there.
Very good advice there. It is fun to get out, and it's great exercise, for them to get on that kayak.
Absolutely, and it's cool.
Right. But you got to have that life jacket on.
Absolutely.
You got to play it safe.
There's no substitute for that.
Yeah. You've seen some incidents where kids have taken on water and you've been able to help them afterwards, but a lot of times there's no second chance on it.
As a matter of fact, drowning injuries are one of the leading risk of mortality. Children dying from age 1 to 4. And so we highlight this every single year because we don't ever want this to happen anywhere, but in particular Lawrence County.
Yeah. Okay, so Doctor, other suggestions you may have?
So I think one of the greatest things that you could do as a parent is be trained in CPR. And those courses are available through the American Red Cross. It's a fine time if you've got children to go ahead and get yourself CPR certified. So in the unfortunate event that you ever had to use that skill, you would know how to do it.
Yeah, yeah. How about children with the swimmies or floats on?
Right, so
like that?
you know, that's one of the early flotation devices we use in kids. It does create potentially a false sense of security. Kids are more of a vertical position when they're in the pool with the swimmies. We learn to swim on our stomach.
Yeah.
And so when you're trying to teach a kid to swim, it does kind of go against that a little bit. But you know, it's acceptable if you've got a supervising parent there, but ultimately a life preserver is the way to go. So.
Hey, we're out by a lake, and you know, I swam in a lake as a kid. I'm sure you did. You may still swim in there. You know, we swim at the lake. You know, if we go to Sinclair or Oconee, wherever, you know, you'll get in the water and enjoy it, but that life jacket's important. But let's talk a little bit about pools too.
Yes, of course. Yeah, so they're, you know, present all throughout our community. Kids in the summer, they love to hang out at the pool. My children love that.
Yeah.
Once again, they've got to be supervised, and that doesn't mean, you know, a parent that's maybe doing something else while the kids are swimming.
Right.
It's total devotion to what's going on. You know, you want to make sure that you are essentially the lifeguard for your child there.
Yeah, yeah. Anyone with a pool's had a pool for a little while knows that feeling when you think a child is splashed, something has hit the water and you don't know what's going on. It's a terrible feeling, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And you could be distracted, and if an infant is drowning, a small child, you may not hear anything. And so that's the real frightening, scary part of that, is you have to be so attentive, and you can't be distracted on your phone or have something check in the oven, or you've got a little side project going on in the yard.
Yeah.
That just doesn't work when we're talking about kids.
It only takes a moment.
That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of people have above ground pools. They have, you know, feed trough or something that they like.
I don't know what that's about.
And, you know, and kids get in and have a ball in there, but it doesn't take a lot of water to drown.
It absolutely doesn't. And the younger they are, the less volume of water it takes, you know, to have a bad outcome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something we have to be vigilant about.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of teaching a young child to swim. I bet you are too.
Absolutely. You know, as young as your child, and every kid's different, but as young as they are, it's really good to get them involved, be comfortable with the water, but get them enrolled in swimming lessons, swimming classes. You know, that's of great importance.
Yeah, sure is, Doctor. More great advice, but also, you know, on pools you can get the sound reflectors or what have you.
Yep,
where if
like for
anything
breaking
hits
the water. That's
yeah,
right,
yeah.
an alarm.
Yeah, anything you could do to protect your child.
That and fencing around the pool, you know, all these things are aimed at preventing a drowning injury. Pools are beautiful, they're a lot of fun. It gets really hot here in the South, but we got to do it and protect the kids in the right way.
Safety first.
Absolutely, no substitute for it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Bozeman. Thank you to you and to everyone at Fairview Park Hospital.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us right here for more safety tips.
Get a great deal on a great-looking lawn and a really comfortable ride. Introducing Kubota Z200 Series mowers with a new K-Ride comfort system. Designed to optimize your ride so you have everything you need to glide your way to a perfectly manicured lawn. Right now, get a Kubota Z200 mower for 0 down, 0% APR for 36 months.
Products you can count on, a name you can trust. That's Midstate Tractor and Equipment.